Here we go once again. Very similar bans to start it off. Another Tristana ban, even after she received a slight nerf on her ultimate. Still just saying we don't want to see Tristana for Bang.
Do consider that the AD carry pool may have nominally lost a champion and that Kalista is now deprioritized at minimum, potentially gone. Lost to time at maximum. Sang-Yun in an interview said, Kalista's done, goodbye, and he is one of our better Kalista players. So while I don't necessarily believe that heavily, you can see what's happening on blue side. A heavy pinch of AD carries on blue side. We had a first pick AD carry from SKT in the first game. See what King Zone are loading up for. It's 2 AD carry bans. It's interesting to track. I wonder if SKT bans the Sion or first round Sion. I feel like Sion by Untara would be at least something to give them a bit of reliability in the top side. If
King Zone even lets them get it, right? They might even go for the first pick. There's so much stuff still available. They're probably thinking about the Galio as well. I mean, BDD's played his fair share of Galio, especially last year. But look at this. We're going to have Jace taken away from Khan. No shenanigans, but they give the Galio away.
And Galio is kind of a super Sion mid when it comes to what he's able to do.
Yeah.
Very similar champion in a lot of ways. May not build Banner of Command as early, but is all about the control. We mentioned that Sion echoed the Galio pick, and like you say, they have always been a strong Galio team, but this means the Faker can jump on Azir or Corki and go scaling in the mid lane. Are they going to go scaling in the top lane as well? Because then we're talking about double scaling, and Gangplank first rounded by SKT, even after the mana nerfs makes his early laning phase significantly worse than before.
Yeah, some touch-ups to his barrels as well, making them not stay around as long. So he's not on the ban list anymore, but he's still very strong. Putting Untara on that bank plank seems like not a bad idea for now.
And maybe showing their hand quite a lot here, suggesting that Blossom will be on the jungle Camille. Outside chance to support Camille. We said that a lot of times, and since Afrika played it last year, it hasn't happened, but we just saw a fast one be pulled on the red side in the first round, so we'll leave it open.
And they leave that Sion available, right? They're just like, no, we don't even want to play with that Sion, essentially giving it to Khan or even Gorilla if he wanted to try his hand at it.
So let's talk about why the Camille was drafted. It's not because it's a power pick for Blossom. It's to deny the Hextech Ultimatum and Hero's Entrance duo on the side of King Zone. They want to stop the reliable engage compared to what SKT was able to do. Dictate, so King Zone was able to do was to dictate in the draft with the early Sion. As Faker's just hovering Udyr, trying to show his rage. You know, that was his emotional state.
People aren't even reacting to it because it's so unlikely. They're like, yeah, cool stuff, Faker. That's not going to happen. They get Bang onto Ezreal, currently 6-4, his most played. So they're going to give it to him here. A nice pick.
It could also be a mid lane Gangplank if we think about it a bit more, because Pawn in the the LCK Summer playoffs played the mid lane Gangplank against Galio. So I wonder what's going on. It could be a really big flex draft from SKT now that I think about it further. So I do like the fact that there is a lot of unexplored stuff going on in this draft. And if it was mid lane, you could pick up the blue buff and circumvent any of those problems. So let's wait and see what it means for the mid lane. Right now, looking for jungle and top lane for the side of King Zone, and they will actually receive a Jarvan ban, even though Jarvan hasn't been a big pick for Peanut this season.
Yeah. And people certainly were waiting for LCK to get on 8.4 to see what the Koreans thought about it. The Korean coaches, the teams, what did they think? Another friend covering the King Zone fighting. Not very happy about this. King Zone Kaja. We'll see. And this one says, Faker, I love you, SKT win. But we'll have to wait and see. We got to get through this pick and ban.
Yeah, these are our two most popular squads in Korea. SK Telecom for Faker and the Legacy Factor. King Zone for the Rocks. Now King Zone fans largely. And also the reigning champions. A lot of pinch to the champion pool of Peanut. Excited to see where he goes with a lot of his staples taken away. Will he take Jax into SKT? That would be interesting to see after the frustration that Blossom felt in the last series. For SKT to draft here, there's a lot of different ways they could go in the draft.
Yeah, no Lux Ezreal bot lane, no solo queue fans on the side of SKT. Just going to pick up that Leona that's been seeing a lot more picks here in LCK, even on 8.3.
And it does allow them to extend the flex of the Gangplank and Camille when it comes to their role assignments. So let's see how safe King Zone will go. Just seeing what they're facing on the enemy side, there's a lot of unknown variables about SKT's draft. King Zone, looking for a safe blind pick top laner. Jace is gone, so it's probably going to be Sion in the top lane coming through from Khan. The jungle pick that we've waited on for this long.
Khan doesn't look as excited to play Sion compared to playing Jace.
It's just so hard to take a risky pick when there is a lot of flexes available on the red side. So, the action here. Jungle pick we've been looking for. This would be our first Olaf at Spo TV, and it will be locked in. So he's decided that whatever is locked in, he wants to battle ward and go aggressive on the jungle Olaf. So will it be the mid lane gangplank? And what does it mean for the other roles? It will be mid lane gangplank most likely, although Cho'Gath lanes well into the Galio as well. This would be two champions that can actually face the Galio very cleanly. True damage to feast him, and also Gangplank doing his barrel chain links. So it's probably going to be top lane Cho'Gath into the Sion. Good matchup for the Cho'Gath, as we've seen. The mid lane Gangplank against the Galio, just because there's not a lot of kill pressure from the Galio against the Gangplank. And as the draft comes together, it gives them a source of magic damage as well. I was wondering if they go for a Rumble, perhaps, to have that AP threat. It's a Cho'Gath. It's true damage as well. Physical damage heavy is the comp from SKT.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of Cho'Gath against Sion and other regions as well on 8.4, so it makes sense. But really the big hype moment here is Faker on GP mid. We'll see what he can do up against Galio. Should have some fun. But again, Zyra Khan going over to Prey and Gorilla, who were styling on the SKT bottom lane in game number 1. No doubt looking to pull off a similar effect in game number 2 with this very strong bottom lane.
Yeah, fourth time that Faker has played the Gangplank. There was that mid lane Gangplank meta back in the end of 2015, right after the rework to the Gangplank. It's a good matchup. It again was played in the Telecom War semi-final of the LCK Summer Playoffs. So it was played last year, right at the end. It's brought back here. You look at the side of King Zone, they want to pile in with the Galio and Olaf. Olaf great for guaranteeing the positioning of the hero's entrance, and Xayah will be the heavy threat. So one damage threat truly, apart from the burst from the Galio. Whereas on the side of SKT, a very nice flex draft where they had a lot of different options. Gets them 2 lanes. I expect a lot of ganks top lane from Blossom, though, to get the Cho'Gath roll.
Let's see what he wants to do here as we jump into game number 2. SKT up against King Zone DragonX.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
The fans have come out in full force. The entire Nexon Arena is filled up with fans at this point. It was sold out very early on, one of the most hype matchups that we've had here in a while. This whole week is going to be fantastic. 8.4 comes in. We have today, which has this matchup, and even Rocks versus MVP is kind of hype after MVP won against KSV. And then later on, of course, Thursday is the big day. The Telecom War into, I think it's Africa Rocks, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely another big one on the schedule. Make sure you guys are tuning in for all those matches.
And they're also important because we're in the final 3 weeks of the regular season. And in the LCK, if you're new to Korean competition, every placement matters. You miss out on a best of 3 into multiple best of 5s, depending on how high you finish in the regular season. If you finish first, you skip all the way to the grand final. You do not play in the semifinals. So SKT wants to first guarantee their playoff spot, and then they want to get as high as possible. Difficult assignments this week. They can pick up a match victory between the King Zone and the KT series. They'll be feeling really good.
Peanut going to start off on the blue buff here with the help of Khan. Khan getting to lane a little bit late, as well as seeing that bottom lane get there very early. Means that SKT should know that this was the start. Even Peanut said in his interview that he recommends to all the new Olaf players, we're probably going to have a lot more of those, but that you smite the blue as soon as possible. He said that was a very effective jungling path that he's been using for a while. He's played a lot of jungle Olaf, he said, on solo queue as well.
He definitely has, and was playing at MSI as well last year, the last time we really had an Olaf jungle meta. Olaf wants to be low in his jungle, at the start at least, to increase his clear, with how his passive works with attack speed. So a lot of different things to talk about. Like the lanes here for SKT. Cho'Gath very happy against Sion in the top side. A free farm lane for the Gangplank in mid lane. They have the ability to play top side, and if one CC hits, the hookshot can guarantee the rupture. Gangplank ultimate can come in. They can play side lanes really well. with this composition, I should say. Big problem for SKT is in sieging. They have one range champion in the Ezreal. Everyone else is melee. They're also low on the magic damage as well. The comp from SKT, strong in the team fight, a lot of gank assists, the sort of comp where a jungle Camille that we should mention has not worked out recently in the LCK is set up for success, rather than some of the recent ones which have struggled.
Yeah, they certainly, with the Leona joining into the draft, have the option to go balls deep, right? They can go underneath turrets and try to dive, especially if they do get ahead. So that's kind of the play for SKT here. They have two champions with the Kleptomancy, just trying to get as much gold as early on as possible and scale up a little bit here. Peanut going aggressive into the jungle, already going to take away this Gromp from the side of Blossom.
If you're asking about playstyles of the jungle Olaf, which was in some ways blinded in this game because of the flex nature of the SKT draft, we've said it already, Battle Ward. I've actually always thought of Olaf a lot like Nidalee, which sounds weird given that one's a range champion and poke champion is hold the point.
Thought. They're gonna go in the first, but the flash out of Peanut, just dunking him in the mid lane with the help of BDD. That is a very early first blood for King Zone.
And Peanut hadn't shopped. He was on the jungle still at 3 minutes 55. They come in, it's electrocute on the Galio this time, so much burst. Gangplank wanted a farm phase. By the time he realized what was up, he was dead.
I'm sure Faker's in his booth really angry after that one. That was a unexpected and quick turnaround, and that's what you see at a King Zone a lot of the time. They look for these small plays where normally teams wouldn't see stuff like this, and they just go for it. Look at this.
So it's not often that someone is still out on the jungle having not shopped at 4 minutes in the game. Camille just going for her first back. No control on the bottom side by SKT. We watched the replay. I believe the oranges were on cooldown, but we'll confirm that. Comes in, goes for the Justice Punch. Doesn't matter because gets the knockback and electrocute. And also, the reckless swing from Olaf is enough to take him down. And you're right. I'm sure Faker did not see that coming in the slightest.
Well, we have a little bit of a dive up in the top side. The Flash trying to dodge that hook shot, but this is not going well for SKT. Untara already taking way too much damage, and Blossom meekly just running out of there. So they try for it. They get the flash at least. And now they're going for Faker once again here. The Predator coming in. He has his own flash, but now he's in the jungle of King Zone. Nowhere to go. The Pirate is lost. At least Blossom is here though, looking to help them out. BDD. Teleport coming in. Untara already here. Blossom now getting low. They're looking for the taunt. They get another kill. But can BDD get out of this one is the question. No. Faker gonna shoot him in the face. Untara on the run. But now Peanut looking for the chase here.
He's got mana for one more.
They have so much here to get on top of Faker, and it's gonna be handed over to Khan with the swing right in the face of the Pirate.
And that's the thing about the Olaf. If he has the mana, there is no escape. Remove Scurvy, doesn't do anything against the consistent slows. They're going on to Untara.
Look at this. Take a small look at Galio. Not going to work out in the end.
They wanted at least to get the flash out of the Cho'Gath that time. This is already relentless pressure for Faker to deal with. He was able to pull off the sidesteps on the rise in game one. It started even earlier in game two when it came to try to disrupt the early farming phase. Gangplank just wants to farm. King Zone not interested in that at all.
They've been having their run at Faker the whole time. You see this in all kinds of sports. You go for the player that you know is carrying the team, the star, and they're just trying to dunk him as much as possible. Thankfully, Blossom comes over to help, and it gets really messy after that.
I gotta say, the Justice Punch usage from BDD, first on the gank the first time, and then here, during the hook shot to largely negate the stun, has been really a delight to watch. It starts off 1-for-1, but sadly for Faker, there's still a mana bar for Peanut to continue the chase, to pick up the kill. And the problems for SKT aren't only limited to the mid lane, because there was always going to be a potential here that Faker got a farm lane, and then in the side lane you have Cho'Gath and Leona, who are both fairly immobile, and Leona can be baited to look for an engage. This Leona, in terms of the laning phase, never really wants to use Zenith Blade because there's the potential of the hero's entrance. The Galio is out of vision, so playing the side lane is already difficult. But busting through the mid lane, I didn't see it coming, but after the first successful gank, it's been pretty reliable for the side of King Zone.
And afterwards, Blossom just hanging around mid-side a lot more. The trade's even going BDD's way now in the mid lane. And look at this, they're trying to find Blossom. Peanut thinking about the dive, decides not to. Is just gonna stay in the jungle, take it over for himself.
And it's a new age in Italy. That is what this Olaf is. He spends all of his time in the enemy jungle. He's trying to kill Blossom.
Oh boy, Blossom, he's not gonna have it here. One stun, and he actually flashes the wall. The axe gonna miss. And one knockup from Untara.
Nice side steps.
Nice smite as well. Trying to get in there. Peanut, he's still got some mana. That's another axe miss.
3 in a row missed. Fourth one hits.
Come in here, one reckless swing, and there it is. Finally, Peanut picks up the kill in the face of Untara and Blossom.
I mean, what's Cho'Gath going to do is Rupture is on cooldown. They're getting proxied in the top side. King Zone, with a much more conventional draft, are playing it in an unconventional way. How many Galio games have we seen where Galio's involved in 2 kills before his damn ultimate is even available? They're trying to proxy in other lanes as well because of the pressure from Olaf. Blossom can't even enter lane. This game was supposed to be the hook shot maxing jungle Camille starts the fight and Gangplank and Cho'Gath profit. They rewrote the script and SKT are slow to catch up.
It's so hard to deal with. You got that Olaf in the face with the Galio always threatening his hero's entrance. So far, SKT don't seem to have an answer, and already Peanuts. He plays the Olaf first in the jungle once again, and now he's 3-0-1 here, has kill participation on every single one, and so far he's styling all over them.
And I told the story before on stream, but I should bring it up again when I was talking about Peanuts' role on the original Rocks Tigers, 2016 Rocks Tigers, I should say. How was Peanut used as a player? I asked Gorilla, because this was, of course, in the Longzhu days after Peanut was off the roster, and I said, how did the shot calls go? Because we remember Buffless, we remember the battle warding, we remember how aggressive Peanut was, and I was told, well, Peanut says he's going in, he's going to the enemy jungle, and we all backed him up. It was Peanut leading the play with aggressive shot calls. Now he's back with Prey and Gorilla, and we're seeing the same thing again. We're seeing him once again be aggressive in a way he never was on SKT, because he was forced to fit into a box on SKT after the halo effect of the early spring season faded away. Now that he's back with his old pals, he's back in comfort, he's once again picking battle warding champions. The meta allows for Olaf and Nidalee to be played. Olaf runs in the enemy jungle. He's confident that his team will back him up, and the end result is he looks like a confirmed killer like he did 2 years ago.
They're going in down here bottom side. You saw the Galio. They're looking to turn it around. There's that Zenith Blade. Finally they get a kill, but they'll definitely trade at least one here as Wolf is going to get caught up. Peanut and BDD there for the support.
Peanut once again is available. 5 out of 5 kill participation. The Camille cannot enter jungle if she sees Olaf. The amount of dueling advantage that a Ninja Tabi Cinderhulk Olaf has over, what, halfway towards a warrior enchant. Mid lane though.
Yeah, we got a 2-on-1 here, but don't forget about Peanut. Here he comes, and a TP from Gorilla saying, hey guys, what's up? I want to join the fun too. They're going to get onto Blossom here, looking for a potential feast perhaps as Untara, but now you can't stop the Olaf, and here comes Sion from the top lane. The flash double taunt, and here comes the Sion. Gonna go onto the Faker. They can't get the kill though, but here's gonna be the knockup onto Untara. Speaking of knockups, there's another one, and 2 more kills go over to King Zone.
There's just nothing that SKT can do. The roam timings, they're still going.
They still want more. The flash in from Peanut. One axe will do it. It is gonna be the dodge. They're just having fun at this point. BDD gonna stand still for some BM. And that's going to do it. Here comes Bang. He's like, you guys need my help at this point. Doesn't look like he can do much. Maybe he'll find Gorilla here. But Gorilla looking to try to get away.
He doesn't have flash. He took teleport to get to mid lane.
Nice dodge. And Bang says, well, I can't come anymore because Bray from the bottom lane is going to come in.
It looks like we're back at MSI. Peanut has 6 kills at 11 minutes. He's going for the 14-minute dream. And think about what it means for him in particular. This is against his old squad, where so many times, summer season onwards, his face was sullen, he was subbed out, blank was preferred. He gets to start. He gets to have a team that is playing to his strengths. The meta is also playing to his strengths. And what this means for Peanut, words cannot describe.
It's so true. Even in the first game, he was having fun, but in the second game is really where you see it. He's styling all over his old team. Well, let's take a look at the replay here.
Everywhere Blossom goes, a teleport, and then an Olaf follows. There is no Korean voiceover for the Olaf, but this bro is just having his fun. He ults here largely for damage, by the way, to get the extra AD that you get when you ultimate. He didn't need to get through any skills. They keep rolling. They've got Galio and the Scion this time. They tank about 800 turret shots. Start counting them. You will run out of fingers to count how many turret shots they take over this. And they're back mid lane, and Olaf's there. He gets to kill his old mid laner Faker.
He's 7-0-2.
Yep.
He's about to go legendary. We're 12 minutes into the game, Papa. What's going on?
Again,
this is awesome.
This is him at MSI, unleashed once again. Styling last year. This year, oh boy, he is insanely fed. He's not done. He's going to kill Blossom.
He wants that legendary. He's not going to be able to flash. It is down. And he's just going to take the Gromp and leave it at that for now.
Man. This game is so aggressive by King Zone. The Olaf pick that we knew worked into Skarner now is suddenly becoming a must-ban against King Zone. A team on the front foot with an Olaf and the Galio and all the follow-up of King Zone is a team that's going to win basically every game. Doesn't even matter that his laners are not involved in a lot of the kills. Peanut is already a raid boss on his own.
We prophesized it, we talked about it, we thought this patch would be pretty good for King Zone. So far, they're having a lot of fun. They're making this seem like they invented the animal style. They're just coming in here and it looks like they're having so much fun. I'm having so much fun casting this kind of game. I don't know if it's the patch or just King Zone today, but it's been great so far, Papa.
Hey, I watched NA and EU. I don't remember the 7-0-2 Olaf pre-15 minutes. And we didn't have the mid lane Scion either in competitive play. You always want to wait for 8.4, and we're definitely going to have 8.4 games at Echo 8.3. They're going to be less interactive, but King Zone games, Blossom needs to run away. He might be doubling the gold of Blossom at this point.
Peanut's level 10.
Yeah. He's 2 levels up and has an ungodly amount of gold.
Well, who do you rely on at this point for SKT? I mean, you look, we take a little step back, and the gold is only about 2,000 ahead here for King Zone. A lot of it is onto the Olaf. There are a bunch of assists on the side of the Galio as well, but at least your Gangplank Faker's doing better than the Galio in terms of CS, and you have Bang down on the bottom lane doing pretty decently himself. We'll see if maybe they can get more than just that meek rise in game number 1.
If they can stabilize,
carry for SKT.
If they can disengage the big plays from the Galio, there is a lot more damage on the side of SKT than there is on King Zone. But because their jungler is so far behind already, the value of Camille as an ultimate into just dying pretty early, the Gangplank will take time to actually hit his item breakpoints. Remember that a lot of the gold here is from the Bandit on the Relic Shield into Targon's, and also the Parlay. When you look at the side of King Zone, they have one true damage threat in the late game, that is Prey on the Xayah, and Olaf in the late game is mostly about just trying to zone a threat rather than actually being a hard carry. May never matter, because the first game didn't go late game, and they have a 7-0-2 Olaf in this game. There is good news for SKT at 40 to 45 minutes, but King Zone isn't interested in playing long series. We knew from the patch that the teams that played shorter games were going to be benefited. That was SKT. In every other series with Blossom, they have been the ones to take the early power spike. They've gone scaling against King Zone, and they're getting punished.
Speaking of which, going for some more action here, but the GP ultimate coming down. You can see, though, the Galio is going to make his way in, and you talked about it before. They don't want to go for the engage, but here's Blossom, wants to make up for that early game. He's going to get 1 kill. He's getting pretty low, though, and the kite is going to come in. Prey will get that kill. Faker now waiting in the brush. Going to flash onto Prey here, but Peanut's here. He's got VDD as well, and finally, Peanut goes legendary with his 8th kill.
I mean, Faker just wants to play like he sees the enemies playing. He wants to be the one, to be the big carry, but after getting neutralized by the Scion, he's on Gangplank. He's on a champion that plays for his own lane. You never see teleport plays with Gangplank for reasons like this. He's over-pursuing, trying to actually raise the morale of his team, but unfortunately, just putting his team into an even bigger hole.
Not feeling happy about that. The frustration coming on in as he tries to go 1v3, picking up the kill. And here we go, Peanut. He's doing a lot of things himself this game. Getting 8 kills, only 2 assists in this one. He gets the Rift Herald, he's pushing down mid himself. He's doing a lot here, Papa.
He is doubling the gold almost of his enemy jungler. He's 4,000 gold ahead at 17 minutes. He's also going for a Trinity Force, Valdez, so he's going carry build on Olaf.
I mean, we've seen this before, right? Where you get so far ahead that you're like, well, I might as well go for this really expensive item that normally I couldn't afford, but with 8 kills, sure, why not?
Walking up. Sheen procs from an Olaf on a turret. Okay, patch 8.4. We love you very much.
It's been a lot of fun.
Prey says he's the carry, but we know that Peanut is the only carry they need this game, and SKT need time to stabilize. They're just not going to get it, because every time the Hero's Entrance comes in, it reads bad news for SKT.
Well, Faker's going to be spotted on a ward. They have a control ward up on the brush. BDD, without a Hero's Entrance, will just walk up there and say, go for it if you please, but it's not going to go well for you. SKT looking for something on the Rift. It's not going to work out. 6 out of 6 ganks have been successful for Peanut.
And he spent 2 minutes less around his lanes, because every time he's shown up, he's been showered in gold from kills. Everything he has touched has turned golden. This is the best Peanut performance we've seen since the MSI game, but that was against much more meager opposition than he's facing today. You can only point to Buffless as a better game, and that was against Sonic Boom. Against SK Telecom T1, he has a Trinity Force, a Cinderhawk, and a Giant's Belt. Boots 2 as well at 18 minutes. He is more of a raid boss than 8.4 Baron could ever be.
I know, it's insanity. Maybe he'll just go for Deadman's Plate and say, well, you're not going to get away from me here, and I'll just have even more burst. We'll see what he does want to build out of that here. Blossom making his way up top, but all the vision goes to the side of King Zone. Now they want to get onto Blossom here. The Ignite's going to come in, the Hero's Entrance, and he disappears, even just to Prey. Peanut didn't even have a chance to get an assist in that one, even though he really wanted it.
Peanut continues to push up. They're still zoning. You and I were talking about what to expect from junglers on 8.4, and we still don't know. It's only Peanut and Blossom in this series, but if you go Battle Ward, you don't need wards. You can do stuff like this.
He's coming in. The ultimate is popped, and Bang says, see you later, buddy. I'm not going to help you out. Not much he can do as he continues to go legendary.
Extending his legendary streak up to 9-0-2. Peanut unleashed. The drifting here. Holy crap!
What? He's coming in behind Faker from the right side. It looked really cool. It's going to zone them out in the end. And everybody on King Zone, you can feel that they're all feeling it at this point, having so much fun on the Rift.
That was sick drifting. That's some narrow corridors. He almost was able to hit one of Gangplank or the Ezreal on the back end of it. SKT trying to group. Their laning phase has not been kind to them. Hans flashes up. He might have to be forced to use it.
We'll see what he can do. The Hextech ultimatum comes in, but BDD says, stop picking on my friend! Peanut wants to join in on the fun. Can they get another kill onto Blossom? It looks like the flashes, they really want to kill him. They want to make him feel as bad as possible. Another flash and he can't get it. They're just, oh man.
Gorilla tried to get a kill with a flash Q, Valdez.
They're trying whatever they can at this point. They want to get as many kills as possible. Untara's like, let me do the work for you guys. I'll just go in. It looks like they're going to find Blossom now. Poor guy. As 10 kills go over to the side of Peanut. Untara is walking into the fountain at 20 minutes into the game. What is this?
He wants to join King Zone. He's found the team for him. It's not SK Telecom T1 anymore. It's madness, Valdez. It's King Zone. They are the best team in the world. And to say they're styling on SK Telecom T1 would be to undersell how well King Zone have played both games in this series.
The nerd chills are real. We're all getting them right now as it makes it look like it's, you know, King Zone versus MVP at this point, and I don't even want to see that match at this point. It's getting pretty intense, but yeah, he picks up the Randuins as, you know, I mean, why not? It's going to make everybody else pretty useless.
No, even better.
What is Blossom, Faker, and Bang going to do against that?
But you think about the Randuins, you're like, oh, it's for the crit reduction. There's no crit outside of the Gangplank later in this game. You know why he's gone Randuins? He wants to ult and then slow the enemy for everyone else to join him so he can spam more axes. He's done the most damage in the game. He is ungodly fed. If you look at interviews, Peanut didn't want to leave SKT, even after everything. He was happy on the team. In the end, it didn't work out. They didn't jive, and he had to move. He went to join his old friends, and the end result, it's something unspeakable. Letting Peanut leave to one of your competitors. You think of traditional sports. When you let a superstar player join a competitor, this can be the result. If things gel, and it's gelled in a way that is so impressive.
Yeah. Before the games, Peanut back in the makeup room, buddy-buddy with Goma, you know, going in there talking to his SKT old members. You know, there's no bad blood, but once you get onto the Rift, once you play what you're professional at, whether it's real sports or, you know, traditional sports or esports, you're going to play your heart out when you're up against your former team, and so far we've seen that here from Peanut. It's been a slaughter fest so far. 18 kills at 22, nearly 23 minutes. And now they're looking for some more kills in the red side jungle.
I mean, SKT, who's face checking? Because Blossom dies instantly. Wolf going to be turned on. They're doing their best, finding plenty of vision as they go. They have no idea they're not on Baron.
Now they're going to know as Predator comes in. They're looking for Bang on the right side here. An Axe is going to hit, and see you later. No flash available. That's going to be one kill. What else can they get? The Hero's entrance comes in. Prey, he wants to have some fun too. Going to pick up a kill onto Blossom, who is now 1-7 on the Rift. Wolf on the run here is actually going to get away with those Moby boots as King Zone say, I guess we'll just turn to the Baron.
They're going to pick up the Baron as a bonus. Untara doesn't have flash, but has the feast, so he's someone that has to be respected. Can he actually close the distance? No, he's not interested in giving over his life. Knows that he can't flash in for the steal. Baron is claimed at 23 minutes. There has been 20 kills in 20 minutes as Wolf decides to try to delay on BDD, I guess. He's certainly not going to kill him.
You got that feast you were talking about. Maybe if the rest of King Zone lets him die and that hits, they might have a chance to bring him down to half health at this point.
What a surreal day. This felt like it would be a 3-game series with how much SKT has improved. But even with a new roster, they face King Zone for the first time with Blossom, with Untara in much better form, and it doesn't matter. Peanut walks up to Bang and basically instant kills him because that's how strong Olaf is in the game. They get bonus kills everywhere. Wolf was able to buy some time, but the Baron was always going to be free for King Zone, and SKT, of course, know in the booth that they're just waiting for King Zone to stop playing with their food and actually finish them to go up 2-0.
Even Untara is saying, please finish me. I'm going to go into your base and die because I have nowhere else to go at this point. And so far, that's been the story of this one. King Zone.
Hey, banner.
Yeah, well, someone managed to pick it up amongst all
Boom!
the gold. There it is, one after another. The siege tank gets shot after shot. You thought you could turtle on 8.4. You were wrong.
No turtling allowed at all on patch 8.4. Going scaling is being completely neutralized. Short games. King Zone DragonX, our best early game team. Definitely look like a marriage made in heaven.
Yeah, look at them trying to kill the bannered up Baron minion. It's hilarious. As every lane is being pushed, it seems like finally King Zone have gotten tired of playing with their food. They're like, okay, finally, I guess we have to end it. So going down the mid lane, going to take out that inhibitor, looking for the bottom lane, going to get this one. I can see the highlights, or rather the news headlines already between King Zone and SKT. You thought they could put up a fight. The answer was no. King Zone looking to solidify their first place in the world position on the Rift tonight.
We'll be going 4-0 over SKT, who have tried so many different combinations to find the right one. They were able to beat lower opposition, but against King Zone, they don't have the squad to be able to beat these players.
They want to put up a fight. Let's see what they can do. They're going on to the Galio. Not usually a good sign, as already he's going to go down. Poor Blossom. BDD charging in their face. A decent amount of damage back from Faker, but it's just not enough. They're going to get the entire ace before the end of the game. 20-4, 26 minutes, 2-0 King Zone. That's going to do it for the games today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. They're not even killing the Nexus. Finally, they will. They're having fun. GG. 2-0 King Zone DragonX.
Just an outrageously strong performance by King Zone DragonX. First series on patch 8.4, and did it live up to the billing? It is a rematch of the LCK Summer 2017 final. And since then, King Zone have held the wood over SKT. 3-1 on that day, 2-0 in the first round, but that was when SKT was at their lowest. SKT have emerged 5-1 in recent memory, and they are dispatched just as easily as when Blank and friends watched as Khan's Fiora ran all over Tal and Blank on the day. This was a shellacking and then some. King Zone DragonX, the patch actually buffed them. How scary a thought is that?
I mean, all the aggressive teams here in Korea are going to get buffed up. After what we saw tonight, SKT, they're going to have to come back with some new ideas because the ideas we saw did not work. King Zone styling on them tonight. The coach, he looks ecstatic. They put in their work. And then we got to turn to the other page.
Koma has to try to help out Wolf and try to get through his emotions. Faker predictably emotionless, but did not look happy after game one.
He looks as pissed as he's ever going to be, Papa.
Second loss for Blossom. This one, of course, a far, far one from the series against Africa.
He can't believe it. He's like, what the hell was that? That felt like a solo queue game.
It was the only thing missing from a solo queue game was the surrender vote, Valdez, because other than that,
over at 15, man.
Yeah, this was outrageously strong from King Zone. Peanut will win the MVP. He decided the entire game with the mid lane gank, and by the end, it's just sad. It's sad watching them get completely and utterly destroyed by King Zone DragonX. A pleasure to watch. I was speechless trying to understand how KSV could have fallen so far from being world champions. I don't have any words to describe how strong King Zone looked. In macro, in micro, in every lane, they decimated SK Telecom T1.
In the draft as well, game one, even game two, where we're like, oh, this looks a little bit, you know, SKT's got a chance. No, say King Zone. Let's take a look at the damage. Well, just about as much as you would expect, but the gold graph is the cool one for me. 15K, 26 minutes into the game. It's very one-sided, as everybody can see.
Unbelievable game, just unbelievable. The goal doesn't show it in the early game because of Parlay and the gangplank keeping things low. But Olaf was a raid boss and then some. Outrageously strong performance from an outrageously strong team. In every role, they have top 2 players. It's just unbelievable how strong King Zone are and how fast they adapted in SKT. How much can you hold against them? Because they were beaten by a team that was just extremely ready for this day, for the new patch, new ideas, their players in great form. SKT finding any other opposition would have found a lot more time. They could never breathe. They were choked out from this series by King Zone. It was definitely a win by submission.
Yep, that it was. I mean, player by player goes by from SKT. They all look depressed. They're not feeling good after that one. Maybe a little bit like KSV, where you experience a loss that's so bad that you're like, well, we got to change something, right? And it seems unbelievable, but you better believe it. I feel like that should be the headline here for King Zone, because they'll do this time and again. If they can do it against SKT, I'm really curious to see what they can do up against some of the other top teams here in Korea. We still got, I think, 5 more games for King Zone to play before the playoffs, but they're already trying to slate themselves for the finals of spring.
Yep, looking like our first place team 2 seasons in a row, Valdez. Again, so many things will be written about this series. It was a once-off. It feels like a dream. It was an amazing performance by King Zone.
You guys were here for it live. Let's see the MVP. Don't really need to show this one, but it says at the top, The Peanut Show. And it was 11, 0, and 6, 85% kill participation. He was there every single time. I'm surprised that he only has 26% of the damage, but I suppose his team caught up with him eventually.
And people wondered what it would mean when Cuz was having games where it looked like he was more in sync with the players. You had to know at the back of your mind that if Peanut could ever have the same synergy with his new team, he would be unlocked in some games. And this is the reason that Peanut starts. This is the reason that he has such a high reputation. He can decide an entire game on his own, and he was outrageous in this one.
Well, guys, I'm excited to see what they have to say after this one. We're going to hand it over to Ji-sun for the translation with King Zone's interview.
오늘 승리를 이끈 두 선수의 이야기를 직접 들어보시죠.
From King Zone DragonX picking up victory against SK Telecom. It was a really fast game and a perfect victory. So let's hear from Gorilla and Peanut. Congratulations. It was a fast game. So how do you feel? You know, we have been underperforming after the first series after a patch, so we tried to practice a lot. So I'm feeling really relieved that we won today.
아유 그냥 올라프는 뭐 아유.
And Olaf, it was great. Peanut, how do you feel about the victory?
일단 저희가 새 패치가 올 때마다 너무 많은 걸 준비해서
I think we always prepared so many things after the new patch, so we just tried to focus on a few things and kind of concentrate on few points. So I think that is how we make the victory today. What are the points? So yeah, one of them was Olaf, and also meet Sion. Yeah, so we just focus on few things, so that is how we got the victory.
이 8.4 패치에 어울리는 그 몇 개의 장면 중에서 본인에게 어울리는 그 하나를 포커싱했던 그 멋진 장면이 승리를 만들었다라는 말씀을 해주셨는데 어떻습니까? 경기로 좀 들어가서 첫 번째 스레시를 이제
Moving into
했었는데
games,
사실 미드에서
the first set you got Thresh.
좀 등장을 하면서 이게 동시다발적으로 너무 여러 가지가 시도되는 것이 아닌가라는 우려가 좀 있었거든요. 이게 어떤 준비였어요?
So how brave were you picking Thresh for games? I thought you was a good champion to use for the support, but and I also have a result that winning against SK Telecom on my Thresh, so I was a little bit confident.
어떻습니까? 거의 사용 성공 적중한 순간부터 펼쳤던 전투 다 승리였어요.
And every time you landed your hook, you made a kill. Well, whenever I'm playing Thresh, I have a lot of engagement with the jungler, and I think I had a great teamwork with Peanut today. And what could be the highlights from today, Peanut? So the kills in the early games was thanks to the Gorilla using so many engagement with his Thresh. So I think it was a great play from Gorilla. And even when we got the Taric from SK Telecom, it was also Gorilla's decision. So I think it was all his great play. Well, back in the days, Peanut didn't really listen to me, but nowadays I think he's a little bit more grown up, so I really like it. So let's check out the highlights. Can you give us some comments about this clip? Actually, I was a little bit sad because I died there.
자, 드래곤 앞에서의 또 전투였었는데요.
And this one, it wasn't me playing well. I think it was Khan opening team fight so well. And at this moment, we were in a great lead, so it was easy to win the team fight.
아, 킹존이 워낙 이런 경기력을 좀 많이 보여주다 보니까 아예 그냥 속도하면은 이제 뭐 킹존에 관련된
So you guys are showing the best performance by far.
좀 등장을 했었는데 어떻습니까? 올라프로 이렇게
How was the game 2?
사실 저희는 많이 못 봤거든요. 1106이 나왔어요.
You were 1106 on your Olaf. So it was also the first time for me to be scaled this much well till the end of the game. So I felt really good.
근데 이렇게 숫자가 나왔을 때 중간쯤에서 어느 정도 좀 콜이 있었을 것 같거든요. 올라프 위주로 뭐 경기가 나오자 뭐 이런 얘기.
Since you were scaled well, was there any shot calls that we should focus on Olaf and open team fights based on your skill shots? Yeah, I just told my teammates not to open team fights when I'm far from them.
사실 사이온 등장했었을 때도 이 점을 좀 안 드렸었네요. 카시오페아가 밴되자마자 BDD가 정말
And we saw BDD smiling when SKT banned out Cassiopeia. Why was that?
이제 저희는 그냥 미드 밴을 한게 그냥 이제 미드 밴을 했는데 보성이가 카시를 약간 어제부터 상혁이 카시 노래를 하고 있어서.
Actually, BDD said he was kind of afraid of Faker's Cassiopeia, but seeing SK Telecom banning out Cassiopeia on their side, so I thought BDD was happy for that.
때문에 민소를 졌다는 말씀을 해주셨는데 오늘 경기 뭐 풀어내면서 2세트도 특히 올라프가 만들어냈던 멋진 장면들이 굉장히 또 많았습니다.
And Olaf made a lot of kills every time he won.
킬을 만들었던 장면 중에서 가장 머릿속에 남는
What was the best kill of the game?
일단 첫 미드갱이랑 그다음에
The first gank in the mid lane and also the solo kill on Camille was the best too. So let's see the clips.
2세트 최고의 플레이. 이 장면이었죠. 이 장면이 시작이었으니까.
So this is the one you mentioned,
이게
right?
이렇게까지 딜이 뭐 아예 들어가기 전에 끝나는 장면이 있었거든요, 사실.
이게 일단 보성이가 정확히 갱플 W 콜이랑 이제 갱 루트까지 다 잘 짜줘서 솔직히
Well,
이
BDD
킬은
gave
보성이
me
형이
specific
더
calls
이렇게
for
먹여주는
the
느낌이라고 보시면 될것
mid camping, so it was lucky for me to get the kill.
뱅 선수를 끊어내는 장면까지 올라프를 좀 만들어줬었는데 이렇게 되면 진짜 킹존 드래곤X가 또 하나의 승리를 좀 얻어냈습니다.
So you guys are picking up to a victory against SK Telecom.
선수들의 건강이 아닌가.
But well, fans are actually worried about the health of the King Zone players.
건강이 안 좋다거나 뭐 이런 선수는 없는 거죠?
Is everyone feeling okay?
제가 원래 이제 종합병원이라는 말을 들을 정도로 몸이 좀 안 좋은 상태 안 좋은데.
Well, actually, it was always me who was always being sick, but we have a worse person in our team now, who is Khan. You know, he's sick all the time right now.
네, 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. 요즘 몸 관리 열심히 하고 있는데 뭐 경기력으로.
Well, I'm really doing my best to recover fully, so I'm really happy that I'm feeling okay nowadays.
혹시나 갑자기 표정이 좀 어두우면 좀 아픈 것이 아닌가 하면서 모성애의 그 빛들이 막 쏟아지는
Yeah, a lot of fans have been worrying about your health and your conditions. Is there anything you want to tell your fans?
건강 생각해서 이제 왕호 따라서 헬스도 열심히 다니고 있으니까 몸 걱정 안 하셔도
Yeah,
돼요.
I'm fully recovering from the last times. So yeah, I hope my fans don't worry no more.
저는 이제 피키쌤이랑 1대1로만 근데 이제 동아 형이 특히
Well, me and Khan are nowadays going to gyms, but actually, I think Khan is not working out well. So
이게 안 하는 것보다 낫다고 생각해 이게.
well,
가볍게 3kg로다가.
well, going to the gym is a big thing. So I think it is just meaningful that I go to the gym every day.
네, 바로 엔터키입니다. 엔터키가 비어 있는 공간이 있어요.
And we also have a present for Khan.
저희가 버틸 수가 없어. 안타까워서 하나
I heard
사왔는데
that you removed your enter key from your keyboard.
좀 걱정이 되네요. 엔터키를 사왔어요.
This is a giant enter key for you.
수가 있거든요.
So this might help you make a little more careful comments during your solo queue.
섭기가 2개나 있네요. 감사합니다. 이걸로
Thank you very much.
채팅 많이 치겠습니다.
So I'm promised to make good comments during my solo
새로운 모습을 많이
queue.
보여줄 준비를 하고 있고 좋은 계기를 통해서 팬 여러분들과 좋은 얘기를 좀 나눌 준비를 하고 있으니까 아마 이렇게 말씀을 해주신 것 같은데 일단 킹존 끝으로
So
사실상
lastly,
이젠 아예 적수가 없을 정도입니다. 뭐 킹존 드래곤X가 너무
I think
위쪽에
you guys
좋은 점을
look
보이다
super
보니까
solid
팬들도
in
걱정 안
LCK.
하죠. 어떻게 이길지에 대한 그 기쁜 시선만 있거든요. 팬 여러분께 한 말씀
is there anything you want to say to your fans?
네, 먼저 모두 다. 네.
뭐 어떤 팀이 오든 간에 좋은 경기력으로 이길 수
I'm gonna
있도록
promise
연습
to show
많이
great
하고
performance
노력 많이 하고 있으니까
facing
응원
whichever
부탁드립니다.
team
네, 맞습니다.
on our schedule.
네, 저희 팀 여기서 만족하지 않고 더 발전한 모습.
We're not gonna let our guards down, and we're gonna show more better performance from the next schedules.
더 집중해서 더 좋은 모습
We're gonna keep concentrating on our hard work. Thank you for the support.
어디까지 더 강해질지에 대한 궁금증이 계속 생기고 있는 이 세 명의 선수와 킹존 드래곤X입니다. 앞으로 킹존
So this will be the end of the interview with Khan, Gorilla, and Peanut from King Zone DragonX. I'll send it back to our casters.
Did that really happen, Valdez? I mean, the series?
Well, yeah, it did. We saw it live. It was hard to believe, but all you guys were here with us. It was one of the shortest series we've had here, actually. It's only 6. It ended at like 6:30, which doesn't really happen here in Korea.
We have a 1 hour and 3 minute break.
Seems like you're a little bit
103
speechless
years,
after
I
that
guess
one,
we would
Papa.
call that one. Holy crap, man. This was on a different level. Fastest series of the season. And it was between King Zone DragonX and SKT. And this was not a hapless SKT. This was SKT back in form. And yet, it's like nothing ever happened in between those two series. If you told me both the series were played on the same day, I'd wonder where the Olaf pick came from. But otherwise, I would believe you.
Yeah.
Outrageous game by King Zone DragonX. There's no one to point blame to on the side of SKT. It must be a difficult one. They're just against a better team. And that's just a scary thing to consider because SKT have the greatest player of all time, the greatest coach of all time. And it was just I have no words. I got nothing left to say about how much here. At some point, I'm just going to start saying things I'm going to regret later.
Yeah, that's definitely the way it feels, Bob. I mean, as casters, we have to have speech in our job, but we're both kind of speechless after that one as it was domination. It was savage, brutal, and wrecked on the Rift here. very one-sided, did not look like a fight between two top 5 teams. As King Zone, I mean, they move up to plus 18 indicator score, but I said in the chat, it looks more like 18 plus on the Rift, especially today.
Well, we'll wait and see if we're allowed to upload these VODs afterwards. Hopefully we can, so future generations can see that King Zone DragonX on the day decimated SK Telecom T1.
At the top it says, we do whatever Peanut wants to do, and I mean, that's kind of what happened today. Peanut got his hand on the champions that he wanted to play. He picked up that Olaf and said, let me show you again why this is really strong and why I am, in fact, the best jungler. Not anybody else. You know, don't look to score, don't look to spirit. No, it's me.
You know, I'm inclined to believe him after today. Desolation, decimation. King Zone DragonX now, of course, are even further out front on the ladder. 2 losses, one of them very surprising against BBQ. They are now 11-2, but it might as well be 12-2, given that no one is going to reach plus 18 on the game score.
Yeah.
Feels like you can already pencil in that for that LCK Grand Final, it will be King Zone DragonX versus apparently someone with a very steep task to face.
Yeah, it's just like any sport. They're going up against the #1 in the world, and they're shaking in their little booties before they get there. No doubt, it doesn't matter who it is, if it's King Zone, or rather KT, or Afrika, or even SKT make it back into the finals. How can you go up against this team with confidence after a day like today?
You can't. You're going to have to find bravado. You're going to have to find the exact perfect strategy, and you would have shown them in the semifinals, the quarterfinals, however you played in the gauntlet. So SKT still very much with a chance of making top 5. This actually pushes KSV amusingly above them to 5th spot after losing to MVP. Their free fall is not enough to arrest their good early season form. We won't see KSV today. They will play tomorrow. We have a fun series for our second one when we get to the schedule, though. Will, of course, be Rox Tigers, one of our top 5 teams, taking on the MVP team on absolutely its high, an MVP team that is coming off the victory over KSV we mentioned.
Yeah, Rox Tigers, another one of these teams that certainly can play like King Zone, not to the same level, but in terms of the amount of playing aggressively in the game and just going all out on the Rift. They certainly have brought that in before, and they're a team that likes to study the new patches as they come in. They were doing weird stuff with the Unsealed Spellbook very early on. MVP coming off the high. It's on the new patch. I feel like a lot of their players are going to like this new patch. Certainly Ian is going to have his way of the mid lane. So I'm looking forward to that one as well.
We're definitely going to see Swain picked to band in that one, that's for sure. Even more buffs. We saw it on 8.3. We're going to see it on 8.4. What other crazy stuff do they have cooked up, though? Because Lava has played new champions. ADD just played the Swain. We saw some innovation here. We will not see the same series in our second one. How could you ever attempt to copy what King Zone did? Amazing series. We'll remember this day for a long time, but hopefully it's just the start of what 8.4 has to bring us.
Exactly. I mean, it's hard to believe, you know, there's another match coming up, guys, but make sure...
In 1 hour.
Yeah, it took so short an amount of time that we're going to be joining you guys in 60 minutes. So I hope you guys can bear with it, but we'll see you then.